So you're looking to add group listings to your Etsy shop, but maybe you haven't done this yet because you're not sure of the process and you're a little intimidated because you don't know how to set it up. Or maybe you're just thinking, boy, that is a ton of work. Well, today I'm going to go over 3 different ways that you can set your group listing up. And the first one is definitely going to make it super easy for you. I'm also going to go over a hack that I use in my shop. And this hack enables me to grab faster traction on my listings, and I'm able to push out my group listings quickly. As a matter of fact, check these results out. That listing there on the left is a listing where I'm using that group hack, and I will share that with you toward the end of this video. It's got 835 visits, 33 favorites, and 37 sales. Same design, same SEO, that's your title and your tags, in the 4 listings that I'm showing up on the screen on the right. But look at those different results. Most of those have 0 to 1 visit. That one there has 6 visits, no sales, and no favorites between all 4 of them. Another example of this on the left, I'm using the listing hack, 254 visits in the last 30 days, 8 favorites, and all-time 24 sales. And then on the right, you can see between all 4 of those listings, one of them is getting a little traction with 44 visits and 2 sales. We've got another one with 2 visits and 4 sales, and the others have 0 sales, 53 visits and 7 visits. None of them come close, though, to the one where I'm using the group hack. My shop is full of examples. I am going to give you one more because I wasn't going to spend all day searching through my shop for these examples, but I thought that this would just really drive the point home for you. In this last example I have for you, on the left, I'm using the listing hack, 595 visits in the last 30 days, 35 favorites, 27 sales. On the right, these 4 listings, same SEO, my title, my tags, that's my SEO, same designs, but all of these have much fewer visits and I have no sales through them. In the third way that I show you today and how I accomplish a group listing, I will show you my hack for doing it really quickly. But I will share with you right now the 3 examples I just showed you on screen. The only difference that I was doing with those examples that were getting the most traction was I was taking a collection of designs that are in the same niche and I was putting them all together in the same listing. And then the listings on the right side of the screen were each just those separate designs listed by themselves, which I'm sure is what most of us are doing. We're just making one design and putting it out. Now you should be making more than one design in the niches that you're working in. You should be making lots of designs in those niches. So why not take a couple of them and put them together as a collection and put them in your shop as a group listing? You've already done all that work, all that market research to make sure that you're creating designs that are based on market research. So why not give yourself an extra chance to get seen? And as I just showed you in my results, these listings often get better, faster traction than the single listings do, depending on the niches that you're working in. Today, specifically, I'm going to be showing you how to do this very similarly to the way I do it in my shop. In this video here, we went together and we did market research, and I showed you how I would add value to the market. Everybody is kind of producing a similar design, and we just took the design and we did way different things with it, all based on what we saw happening during our market research. Now today we're going to take some of those designs, we're going to put them together, and we're going to list them as a group listing. We're about to jump into that first way that I'm going to show you how to do it, and it is the easiest way, the most automated way. But before we do, let me show you a nice visual of really what we're going after here. I found this shop that had these 2 listings in it. On the left, you see a group listing. You see all kinds of different teacher titles that you can choose from. And then you've got all these different colors you can choose from. On the right, it's only for the kindergarten teacher. That listing is a picture for a kindergarten teacher, and that's what is being sold in that listing. I'm using Everbee here. That's what you're seeing with the stats there over to the right. It's a paid tool. If you are interested in using Everbee, I'll leave it linked down in the description below. And you can try their free version first, and you can get, I think it's 10 searches a month. You'll be able to see if it works for you and, kind of check it out before you purchase. Here we see from Everbee's stats that this listing is estimated to have sold 167 times in the last 33 months. And the group listing is estimated to have sold 1,201 times in the last 33 months. Let's take a look at the way this listing is set up. They've got the picture here, which suggests to the customer they can choose different colors, and they have lots of options with which type of teacher is available in this listing. And when we come over here to the drop-down menus, we see there is a drop-down menu for the design and a drop-down menu that combines size and color. With Etsy, you can only have 2 drop-down menus. You cannot make 3 of them, so you couldn't separate the size and color out. So this is a really clever way of doing this, because if you want to automate this listing, meaning that you can have customers come in and have everything synced up so that the order can be fulfilled automatically through Printify, you can do that. It's going to be some work, but if this listing starts to sell, then you can go back and do that, which is great, because then you don't have to sit there and put the order together each time it comes through. Your customer can come in, they can select the design. They've got a bunch of options here, so that's going to help you convert your customers. And then here, they could come in and select their size and their color. So you could see here they have all the extra smalls, and then they also wrote hot pink, light blue, mint. So they've got their extra small hot pink, extra small light blue. Moving down here, they've got all their smalls, small hot pink, small light blue, so on and so forth, all the way through all of their sizes that they have available. We're going to jump on Printify, and I'm going to show you 3 ways that you could set this up. The first way is going to be the easiest, but it will leave your customers with not as many options. The second way is how I usually do it. Your customer will get more options. And the third way, your customer will get as many options as the listing we were just looking at. And it's how I would set that type of listing up. It will be the most labor intensive for you, but it will give your customers the most options, which could lead to the most conversions, or customers clicking into your listing and not clicking away, but purchasing instead. And when we go over that third way, I will also share with you how I'm able to do listings like that super duper quickly. We're going to jump on Printify together. I'm going to show you how you can set this up. But first, I want to take a second to just tell you, I commend you. I am proud of you. You are working diligently and taking your business seriously. You are educating yourself in how to make more sales. And I know that group listings can be intimidating and a little scary to get started with. So the fact that you're watching this video and you're educating yourself on this, that is a great sign that you are taking your business seriously and that you're going to go great places. So I want you to know I am proud of you. Also, after you watch this video, maybe you just stick with the easiest way to do it right now, and you can always rewatch this video later when you're ready to expand. All right, let's get to it. Here we are in Printify, and I'm going to go to the catalog, t-shirts, and we're going to do the Bella plus Canvas 3001. I could start designing, but then the Printify is going to choose my print provider. I would rather select the one I usually use. I usually use SwiftPod. So I'm going to start designing here. Notice different print providers have different options for where you can print and how many colors are available. So I'm going to use SwiftPod. The next thing I need to do is choose my variants. If you don't see this little box on your screen, it's right here. If I unclick that, it's gone. If I click it back, that's how I get it back. We need this box here. We're going to select our variants. We're going to select Vintage White because that's similar to one of the colors that we noticed was selling really well. So my decision on the colors I'm going to be offering are based on what I noticed in the market research part of this and what was already selling well. Another color that seemed to be selling well, I think it was sage. I kind of was comparing the colors and I think it was sage, which is right here. And we're also going to do a dark gray heather, which was another color that we saw some bestsellers on. So now we've got these 3 colors. We are going to make a specific design for each of the colors. So here we're on dark gray, heather, and we're going to make a specific design for that color. I'm going to click this, and we're going to go grab from our file library here. I'm going to put this design on that color. When you do it this way, this will be the only way the customer can purchase it. They won't be able to choose which color they want. They will have to go with this color if they want this design. Now I'm going to go over to Sage. I'm going to make a specific design for Sage. Let's do this design. If you guys are hearing sawing, I'm so sorry about that. There's a project happening in the backyard and I can hear the power tools right now. And now we're going to do the vintage white, and we're going to grab this design for the vintage white. And I'm going to save product. The little green tab for save product is underneath where my arrow is, but I see that my screen isn't filming that part. Sorry about that. But that's what I'm clicking next. Now I have each of these designs only attach those colors. You can see that here. Vintage white has that design. Sage has this design. Dark gray heather has this design. Now you could finish up the listing here, or start putting these things together, your title, your description, and choose all of these, your pricing and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and hide this in my store, and I'm going to show you the next part over there. Below my arrow here, there's a button that says Save as Draft and Publish. I'm going to go with Save as, I'm going to go with Publish, and it will be published to my store, but it'll be in my drafts in my store. No one will be able to see it yet. And then we'll head over there and I'll show you what to do next. Here we are in Etsy, and here's the listing we just pushed over. So I'm going to click into this, and we're in our drafts. That's not public in our shop yet. This is where you go ahead and put your SEO, how your customers are going to find you. And here's all these pictures that Printify sent over. I'm going to delete all those. I created my own, so I'm just going to drag and drop those over here now. Now, I would suggest doing a nicer job than what I'm showing here. I just did this as a quick example. You'd want it branded, you want it to look nice, but I have my main mockup here. You can make your own mockup if you're choosing colors like I did and you didn't go search and purchase a mockup first, but you kind of made the decision like we did based on the market research and you wanted these specific colors. You could go to a listing like this, purchase these mockups with all these different colors, and then kind of put your own mock-up together, which is what I threw together here. And then I have this one here, and you'll understand why I'm putting this together in a minute, but I just wanted a card for the customer. Designs will be printed on color shown. And then I'm showing dark gray heather with the design that comes on dark gray heather, vintage white with the design that comes on vintage white, and sage with the design that comes on sage, because I don't want my customer to be confused. So here you'd put your description together. This is just the generic one that Printify puts through. So you would put yours in here. And when you put your description in here, I would add information about the colors. So I would make it clear again. Design is printed on color shown in listing photos. So of course this would be along with the rest of your description, and I would have this toward the top. I would then come down and let me show you what this looks like in variation. So Printify pushed over the 3 colors. I can't rename these. Well, I can rename them, but if I do rename them, I have to throw them away and rename them, and then I will lose all my SKU numbers. Your SKU numbers is what Printify generated. All of these right here is what Printify generated when we were over there attaching our print file to each of those colors. And this is how Printify knows what to print up. If I take the SKU numbers out, it is empty. Printify cannot automatically fulfill that order anymore. This SKU number tells Printify that this particular design, the one I set up in Printify, goes on an extra small on the dark gray heather, so on and so forth. So I don't want to erase that unless I'm willing to go back and do a lot of that manually. And then here's the sizes. So I have to kind of leave this alone, but what I can do is to help make things a little more clear for my customer. Choose color printed as shown in photos. I'm just trying to one more time draw attention to the fact that if you choose the dark gray heather, you're getting the design that was shown in the listing photos. So leaving it like this, it'll all be automated. Of course, I'd go down and fill all of this out. It's a physical item. It's a t-shirt that was all pushed over from Printify. I might not do anything with primary colors since I've got 3 different colors happening, but I'd fill all of this out as usual. I'd probably put short sleeves here. I'd fill all my tags out. Make sure you use all 13 and you do your research on that. If you need to watch a tutorial on how to do SEO, which is your title and your tags, I will leave that linked down below. I have a great tutorial on that. And you'll set up your shipping you'll select the shipping profile you want and all of that. So now I'm going to go ahead and publish it. It's not really finished because I didn't fill all of those little pieces in, but I want to show you what the variations look like after it gets published to the store. Actually, guys, there was one more thing I wanted to do, almost forgot. I just dropped 3 more photos in here. I'm going to take the time to do that. 1 of each color with the design all by itself. We're going to manage the variations and we're going to go to choose color. Now I'm going to click in the top left corner there, link photos in this variation. Now for dark gray heather, I can actually link that photo of the dark gray heather design. I'm going to do the same for each of our colors, and we'll pop over into Etsy now and I'll show you what this looks like. It's going to make it a lot more clearer for our customer. Here we're looking at the listing in Etsy. I opened this Etsy shop. It's not my regular Etsy shop. I opened this one to do tutorials from. I'll probably keep it on vacation mode until I'm ready to do something else with it, when I'm not actually doing a tutorial. And I'm not using all the strategies I would be using here. I'd usually have a sale going and I'd have my description nice and I have all my photos filled out. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I wanted to focus on how to set up this group listing. So we're just focusing on those pieces for this listing. So here's the main mock-up image, and when I go over to my drop-down menu and I select dark gray heather, this photo comes up, and then this is going to help make it much clearer for our customer that this is exactly what they're going to get, that if they choose dark gray heather, that's the design they're getting. Vintage white, this is the design they're getting. And if they choose sage, then this is the design they're getting. And up here it says choose color, printed as shown, which I need to fix. I spelled it wrong, in photos. And that's kind of just sealing the deal for them. It's also in this note card here. Designs will be printed on color shown. And then it's again in the description. So it should be pretty clear for them. Someone decided he was going to insist on sitting in my lap, so I'm sorry I'm sitting a little further back from the computer now not to disturb him. Doing our group listing like this is great because it's all synced up. When someone comes into our store and clicks on that listing and makes a purchase, that's going to go right into our regular orders tab on Printify, and it can be fulfilled without any extra work from us. The drawback of this is if this listing does take off and starts to sell for you, I can guarantee you people are going to be messaging you, hey, I really like this design, but I want it on this other color. Can you do that for me? which is fine. And I've always said, yes, why, yes, I can do that for you. And then that becomes a manual process when you start doing that. Or perhaps you have it listed separately in a separate listing and you send them that separate listing where it's available on different colors. Because remember, I like to make these collections a group listing and then also have them listed separately. And setting listings up like this makes a ton of sense if you're doing couples design. So you might be doing something for, a bride and a groom, and maybe the groom design goes on the black and the bride design goes on the white. And so the process that we just did, that would be a great way to set that kind of listing up. Or perhaps a bachelorette type of design where you have one for the bride and then all the bachelorettes are wearing a different design, and you can make that specific on a particular color in your listing. Okay. So that's the first way. Now let's go over the second way I would set up my group listings. And this is the way that I most often set up these types of listings. This time we're going to start our listing in Etsy. It's not going to be synced up with Printify when we do it this way. We'll have to do that afterwards, which means it won't be able to be automatically fulfilled until we have manually put the SKU numbers in. I will show you how to do that. We're going to add a listing. We're going to keep it kind of simple this time. We're going to do physical, who made it, another company or person. It's a finished product. It's made to order. And we are going to choose Printify. We're going to continue. Now we're in here. We want to put our title in here. And we're going to put our photos in here. I have our photos for us right here. Remember, these are just kind of a quick example. I'd have all 10 of them filled out. I'd make sure they look really nice. We're only going to offer one color this time. I often have done it this way. It's a lot easier than offering multiple colors and multiple designs like we're doing here. We're doing multiple designs, but only one color. I've got our main mock-up photo, so the customer will see this in search results. And I've also got this. In the drop-down menus, one of our variations, we have to let the customer choose which design they want. And this card helps them do that. Please select desired design in the drop-down menu. So we'll go through and we'll make an option for design 1, design 2, and design 3. I'm going to skip down. Of course, you've got to do your description. And we'll come back to pricing and all of that. We want to do our variations. And before we could do our variations, it's right here, choose a category first. So we have to go and choose a category first. Usually Printify pushes that over for us. I'm going to go with graphic tees. I kind of go back and forth between graphic tees and like the t-shirts and tops or whatever that other one is called. Let me see. Yeah, t-shirts. I usually go with graphic tees. So here we go. We've got graphic tees. It's chosen. And when we come back up here, variations, now we can click on it. Now, when I come here, I could choose one they already have. But if I do that, I have to use their US letter. So anything I put in here, let's say I do that. I'm stuck with, this is going to be coming after a US letter. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to add a variation, but I'm going to create my own. I'm going to write size here. They're going to choose their size. I would double check with Printify to see what sizes I have available to me. Whoops. I like to write unisex. So unisex small. Unisex medium. Unisex large, unisex extra large, unisex 2XL, unisex 3XL, unisex 4XL. You'd want to go back and just make sure if they had an extra small available, you would add that, or I would. I'm pretty sure they don't have a 5XL available, so I didn't do that. I like to add unisex because I want the customer to be super clear on exactly what they're getting. I don't want them to think they're getting like a ladies fit or something like that. That'll lead to bad reviews. So any chance you have a chance to remind them of exactly what they're getting is a good idea. We're done with that one, but we need to add another variation because remember, they have an option to choose a different design. So here they're going to let us know what size they want, but they also need to let us know what design they want. We're going to create our own. We could say choose design. And then we can say design 1. Design 1. Design 2. Design 3. And then we're going to click this again, link photos to this variation. Now, we only have 3 designs, so it's kind of easy to do this, and I would do it this way. But if you were doing a bigger selection of designs, let's say you were doing like a most likely to set and you had like 15 different phrases they could choose from, I would just write the phrase here, or at least enough of the phrase. You only have so much space, only so many characters that you can use. I would try to write a piece of that phrase there for them to choose from instead of doing it like this. And I would not link to photos because you only have 10 photos. You couldn't do all of that. You wouldn't be able to link to each phrase if you had 15, 20, 30 phrases. So design 1 is this one. We'll link to that. These all say the same phrase, so kind of really how to do it this way. You couldn't put the phrase for this. Design 2, we link to this one. Design 3, we'll link to this one, and this will make it super clear for our customer again. We could change the prices if you want to make your larger shirts more expensive, or maybe you just want to put them all the same price. You could leave it. I am going to change the price for the larger shirt, so I'm going to click on that. And you must click this, SKUs. If you want to be able to automate this listing, you need to have a different SKU for each of the designs and the sizes. So this is going to be the size and design will all have different SKUs. I went ahead and filled our prices in for us. I am putting 30. It just occurred to me that as you're watching, you might be thinking, oh, should I be pricing my shirts at 30? I put 30 because I'm assuming that, I would then be putting a sale in my shop. I'm usually running a sale. So I want to be able to run a 20% sale and, have my shirts come in at like maybe $23. I'd have to crunch the numbers and see where I'm at. But I just put that in there for now. I just wanted to address that in case anyone was confused by that. So if we fill everything out, you should go through and put your attributes. For this one, I would go and put my color since they're all the same color. Gray is here somewhere. There it is. I would go ahead and put my sleeve length as short. I would put all my tags in here. I would put my shipping profile. It won't let you push this out without, so I'm just going to choose Printify's shipping profile. And I should be able to publish that now. Oh, my quantity. So I need to put 999. And of course, I would usually fill this out for a second. I'll just do that as a space holder there for a minute. And I'm going to publish this. So we can go take a look at what this looks like in Etsy now. So this is our design. I'm going to go view it on Etsy. And here we've got our listing. And when we choose our size, and we come down here and we can just choose our design, we have that linked, so it's looking pretty good. If we want our listing to be automated and be able to be fulfilled automatically when someone orders, we've got to go over to Printify, and we need to go ahead and select our print provider. I'm picking SwiftPod, and we're going to want to go ahead and make the product so we can attach the SKUs, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. We had all 3 of our designs on dark gray heather, so I'm picking dark gray heather here. I'm going to get rid of the white since that's not one of our options. And I'm going to drop the first design, or one of the designs, on our dark gray heather. After I've done that, I'm going to save the product, but I'm not going to push it through to the store. I'm doing this so that Printify has SKU numbers for this product with this design. We're going to go ahead and attach those SKU numbers over in our listing on Etsy so that everything can be automated. So I'm going to go back here and double click our listing, and you can find the SKU numbers down here. We see that these are the SKU numbers right here. And we're going to just copy and paste each of those SKU numbers into our listing so it's connected with this design. So back on Etsy, I'm going to click into our listing, and I'm going to put our windows, I like to do it this way anyways. I'm making my windows smaller so that I can have both of them side by side, and I can work in my Etsy listing and in my Printify listing at the same time. So I'm just double checking to see which design I had. I actually grabbed design 2. I was just putting that out up above. So I'm going to connect or sync each of our designs, design 2. And if you make your Printify window too small, you won't see your SKU numbers. I can't see them there. So I need to make my Printify window a bit bigger here. And when I do that, I'll be able to see my SKU numbers. Here we go. Let's scroll back down. Now all my SKU numbers are there, and we're simply going to carefully take our SKU number and match it up with design 2 for each of our sizes. And you just want to make sure you do this carefully, because whatever you attach is what your customer is going to get. So I didn't have an extra small, I had a small. I clicked it and it kind of dropped another window down where I could copy the SKU number, and now I'm just cutting and pasting it over into the small design 2. Now here's design 3, I click it, it lets me copy and paste the one just below, and I can copy and paste that one, design 2, medium. Moving down to the large, I can click it here. Now I can grab it from the window it dropped just below that, copy and paste it over into my design 2, large up here. Now moving down, we're just going to keep doing the same process. Copying and pasting each of the sizes for that design and taking it right over to our listing and pasting it over there. And of course, doing that carefully, because it's really easy to make a mistake when you're doing this. You can also hit that little green clipboard, this right here, instead of what I've been doing. That'll copy the number for you also. So either way, you can get the SKU number that way and pull it over to your listing. Now we're going to need to do this for each of our sizes and for each of our designs. So now we'll go back into Printify. We're almost done with design 2. I'm finishing it up here. We're going to go back into Printify, and we're going to do the next design. Here I am back in Printify. I made a new product. I grabbed the dark gray heather again, and now I am dropping the next design on our shirt. I'm going to put it on there nicely. I like to fill the whole space up and get it kind of toward the top of the design area. And now I'm going to save products, and we're going to do the same thing again. I'm not going to push it through to the store, because that would create an entirely new listing. I'm trying to attach these SKU numbers into our existing listing so I can offer all 3 designs in one listing. And once we have our screens side by side, we can start copying and pasting our SKU numbers for this design. This time I did grab design 1. So just always be mindful, make sure you're grabbing the right design and matching everything up correctly. So I just double checked, this is design 1, and I'll just go through just like we did for design 2. We're going to go through and do that now for design 1. And now we can finish the whole process off by going back into Printify, where I'm in SwiftPod again. I'm going to pick dark gray heather, since that's what we've listed all of our designs on, and I'll do that 3rd design. Now I'll get all my SKU numbers, and I'll just kind of do this and fast forward a bit while I chat with you. And now I'll get all my SKU numbers. Again, I'm not going to push this listing through to be an active listing in my shop, but instead it'll be a draft in my Printify shop, so that Printify knows what SKU number goes with what design and what size from this listing. we had we had 6 sizes rather, and we had 3 designs. So 6 times 3 is 18, and that's how many variations we actually had to sync up. 18 variations for this listing. So you can see if you had more designs, how this could become a lot of work. And the next listing that we're going to do is going to be like that teacher listing that I showed you from the beginning, with lots of colors and lots of designs available. So I will show you a hack and how I personally like to do this, which is where I kind of skip this whole process we're doing now, and I don't sync them up until after that listing starts to sell. Here you can see when we go over to the Etsy listing, I've synced each of those designs so that they will pop the picture up when that customer is selecting that design. So they know exactly what they're getting and they're not confused about what they're going to receive. Now I'm going to show you the third way you could set this up. And in this example, this is how you'd have to set it up if you wanted to do a listing like I was showing you at the very beginning, where you have colors of shirts available. You also have different designs available, and you have your different sizes, of course. You only get 2 drop-down menus, so we're going to have to get creative in order to be able to give our customers 3 variations to choose from. This is also going to create a listing that's going to wind up with many variations. So I will show you how I tackle that and am able to list quickly, even though we are creating a listing with that many variations and would need a ton of SKUs for this type of listing. But before we jump into it, I will invite you real quick, if you are enjoying this content and you'd like to see me pop up in your YouTube feed more often. Hi, I'm simply Shawna. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are enjoying this video and you feel that it was worth my effort to put it together and you want to encourage me to put more tutorials together like this, then go ahead and boop the like button so I'm encouraged by that and know that this is the kind of content you'd like to see more of. This time, of course, we'll do add a listing over in Etsy. I've already dropped our photos here, and this time I'm going to show all of my designs on all of the colors, since I do have 3 very different designs, and I'll kind of put this one as the first mock-up photo, and then I have them in the other mock-up photos so that someone understands what their designs are going to look like. And I went ahead and added this last card here that just shows how to order, so they understand design 1, design 2, and design 3, so that they understand what to choose in the drop-down menu, and then the rest of the photo cards will show them what those designs look like on the colors available. Now we're going to go down and mess with the variations, but before we can mess with the variations, we have to put our category in. Just a reminder on that in case you are doing this and you get frustrated. So I'm going to go ahead and pick t-shirts. Once I've done that, now I can add variations. So we're going to go in there. We're going to create our own. We will call this one, remember, we're doing 3 variations, but you only get 2 drop-down menus. So we have to combine at least 2 of them. We've got our size, we've got our color, and we also have our design. So since we have to combine 2 of them, in this one, let's write size. So we'll just do sizes in this first one. I'm going to go through quickly and just write the various sizes available. Remember, I like to include the word unisex because this way my customer is reminded that they are getting a unisex fit and not like a ladies fit or something like that. After we're done putting all of our sizes in, we're going to create our second variation. The second variation is going to need to combine our 2 other options for our customer. So we're going to create our own, and this time we are going to write something like color and design. So I've decided to group it this way for this particular listing. So let's just make sure this is super clear. Color of shirt and design. And now when I go through to put our options, I'll go through with each color and pair it with each design. So for example, I'm starting with green. We're going to do green design 1, green design 2, and green design 3. We'll do this for each of our colors, making it possible for our customers to select each color with each design. So this is going to create 9, we have 3 colors and 3 designs. So this is going to create 9 options in this particular drop-down menu. And in our first drop-down menu, we had 6 options. Since we know we have 9 options available in the second drop-down menu and then 6 sizes available in the first drop-down menu, 9 times 6 is 54, so we'll have to create 54 SKUs for this listing. We're going to decide whether we want to do different prices. So I'm checking this off so I can make some of them different prices. And we have to make a different SKU for each and every one of them for sizes and color. So I'll come in here real quick. I did our prices and now we've got these empty SKUs. At this point, we'd head over to Printify. We would select all the colors we have available in our listing. So I selected all 3 of these and we drop our design. Now I do need to change the white one. I'm going to make a specific design for natural white. And I just clicked that blue bar there over to the right so that I can do that. I'm going to drop in the same design except I did black lettering for it so it would show up nicely. Now once I have that looking the way I want, I can click through these to make sure the right design is on each color. I'm going to save my product. Once I've saved my product, I'm going to be able to save it as a draft, and when I save it as a draft, I'll have all of my SKUs. Once I have all of my SKUs, I can then go back into my Etsy listing and follow the same process. So here I have my t-shirt. I can click in. And when I go back in, here's all of my SKUs. When I do this, I like to go over to the right. You don't see any SKUs here right now. But if I go over to the right and I click on the little arrows over here, it'll pop then. Here's all my extra smalls. Here's all my smalls in each of the 3 colors. And you can see over to the left, it's showing me for each tab, 2XL, 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 dark gray heather, natural sage. Each of them having their very own SKU. So I would have to then copy and then take it over to my Etsy listing just like we did earlier. We won't do all of this together now, but it's the same process I was showing you earlier. And once I finished this, I'd have to do it again for the second design. And then once we finish the second design, I'd have to come in and do it all again for the third design. If you're thinking right about now, holy moly, that is a lot of work, I would say yes, that is a lot of work. And if you think the listing we were just putting together is a lot of work with its 54 variations, then the listing we were talking about at the beginning of this video, that teacher listing, had 66 options in one drop-down menu and 20 in the other, which comes to 1,320 SKU numbers that would need to be attached if you were going to attach all of them. So instead of syncing all of my listings up like this right after I create them in Etsy, I wait to sync them until after they start selling. And if or when they start selling, I don't sync everything then either. I sync as I go. And I'll show you kind of what that means for me and what that looks like for me. The reason I do it like this is because it's very important to me to get out as many quality listings as possible and see which ones start selling. You will make about 80% of your profits from 20% of your efforts. That's definitely been true in my shop. So I don't want to waste time syncing that 80% of things that hardly, if ever, sell. I'd rather spend more time getting listings up so that I have more chances to have more things start selling, and only sync those listings that are actually performing for me. In order to do it the way I do it, we need to go over and Printify, and we need to be aware of a couple of things so you don't get yourself into a sticky situation if you decide to do it this way. Firstly, your order won't pop up in your Printify orders. You'll have to go over to this other tab, the Other Orders tab, and this is where your order would pop up if someone purchases from that listing with nothing synced in it and that their order doesn't have any synced items in it. It's also important to note that maybe they order and they have a synced item in their order and an item that is not synced in their order. If that happens, your order will go into your regular orders tab, but there won't be any alert to let you know that, hey, there are some unsynced items in this order. Printify will just print what is synced and send it to your customer. And your customer will be missing items. Those unsynced items will not be in their order. They're going to wind up upset. They're going to have to reach out to you. So in order to avoid that, you can go over into your store settings and then hit order settings up there at the top. And then we're going to scroll down to order approval. And right here, you can flip your store to manual instead of choosing one of the automatic options, 1 hour, 24 hours, or you can set a time each day. If you do manual, you have to push your orders through. And that way, you'll never miss an order that might have an unsynced item in it. And that doesn't mean you're stuck sending each order through one at a time. Once a day, I go through my Etsy shop. I look to see what listings are selling. And if I know that there's a listing there that has unsynced items in it, then I go into my Printify shop. I take care of those orders. And then you can select by checking the little box over to the left of your orders. You could select lots of orders to go through at one time. And so you're not sitting there opening each order and pushing it through manually. You can manually push through numerous orders at once. I know this was a long tutorial. If you are thinking about adding group listings to your shop and you made it all the way to the end of this video, I am proud of you. Let me know you're still here by going down into the comments and tell me your dog's name if you have a dog or any pet's name. And then you can watch this video next, but of course not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.